Is brought to you in part by Wells Fargo Bank. Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation, and most recently, producer of the new movie, Show Her the Money. We are so happy to be with you here today on our 400th episode. Can you believe it? And we have a very special guest for that. And so let me introduce her to you. She is an early stage investor. She sits on the Securities and Exchange Commission Small Business Advisory Board. She's also a TEDx speaker and the host of The Angel Next Door. Not to mention the most exciting news, she has a new book out. It's called Doing Good by Doing Well. And I want to welcome the incredible Marcia Dawood. Did I say it right?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Catherine.
Marcia, I'm so happy to have you here on our 400th episode because
I'm honored.
This is a special episode, obviously, and you are the epitome of a woman who is an investor. You walk the walk, you talk the talk, and I am so excited to talk about all the amazing things you do, including being the past chair for the Angel Capital Association. So hard to get all of your accolades in there, but I just did. So, Marcia, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. And don't forget, associate producer on Show Her the Money.
Yes, and I was going to bring that up, so I'm so happy that you did. So happy to have you as an associate producer and investor on Show Her the Money. You and I have been with the others touring around the country and around the world with our film. And let's start with that. Why did you decide to get involved with our movie about how women are so underfunded, getting only 2% of venture capital, and the fact that we're trying to change that? What was your motivation?
Well, in 2012 is when I found out about angel investing. And I remember somebody invited me to a meeting, and I remember saying, well, what's angel investing? I don't even know what that is. And from there, I became just totally fascinated at all of the things that entrepreneurs do, all the things that they create. But very quickly, I realized, wait a minute, women, we're about 50% of the population, and yet we're only getting 2 to 3% of the money out there for entrepreneurs. So that doesn't seem to make sense. I can't believe that women only have like 3% of the good ideas. So how do we change this? And over the last 12 years, I have just started to get more and more frustrated as I would sit there thinking, well, this is a great company. I love what they're doing. They're really doing things that can make change in the world. I want to be able to help them. I am not a billionaire like you see on, TV with a private plane and all that kind of stuff. So I, as one person, could not write check after check after check. But what could I do? Well, I became a member of the board of the Angel Capital Association, went on to chair the board, and just did everything that I could to learn about this asset class so that I could help others realize that they have the potential to do this too. This used to be thought of as just for the rich and well-connected, but that just isn't the case anymore. For the last 8 years, the Securities and Exchange Commission have allowed for people who are not what we call an accredited investor, that meaning that they don't have a certain level of income or wealth, to be able to invest for as little as $50 through equity crowdfunding. And there's so many other ways nowadays that people can get involved. So I just think this movie is coming out at the perfect time, and we're giving everyone the level of awareness of this asset class and the fact that they too can participate in the changes that they want to see in the world.
I love that. And boy, you are just hitting it home in every aspect. You have your book, you have your podcast, you're out there, letting people know that anybody could be an investor. And I love that message. And I do want to address your book. I see it right there behind you, Doing Good by Doing Well. It's so funny, Marcia. I was having lunch with a venture capitalist yesterday, really great guy. And he says, I believe in doing good while doing well. I go, oh my God, my friend Marcia has a new book called that. So it's something that really resonates with people. And I was so happy that he said that, and of course, I told him to get your book. So I love your book. Let me start with that because we have a lot of things to talk about. But your book, Doing Good by Doing Well, I really enjoyed reading it. I thought every woman that wants to start getting involved in angel investing or being a venture capitalist, and we'll explain the difference between the two, is your own journey that you share about how you discovered it, how you got involved, and now you're more involved than almost anybody I know. So what made you decide to do the book?
Well, I'm more of a spreadsheet person. So believe me, writing a book was not really on my agenda. I didn't think I would ever do it. But I ended up doing a talk at TEDx Charlotte. And if I remember right, that's how you and I got connected. Somebody saw my TEDx talk, somebody saw your TEDx talk and said, did you know you're talking about the same thing? You guys should know each other. And
no,
and
really, let me just interject. I saw your TED talk and immediately fell in love with you, and everybody should see your TED talk, which is the same title as your podcast, right?
The same title as the book.
Same title as the book, right. Do Good by Doing Well is the TED talk. Everybody should go watch it. It really moved me. It was very raw, very honest, and just a beautiful TED talk. So yes, that is how we met.
Yes. And after I did the talk, a lot of people came up to me and they said, wow, we're inspired. We would really like to do something, but we're not sure what to do. It's hard to explain in 11 minutes. So I said, okay, you know what? It probably would be a good idea to write a book. So I went out on this mission to write down my thoughts. What are the things that I'd really want someone to know? Wait a minute. What are the things that I wanted to know when I got started? Because I talk about in the book, I had what I call shiny halo syndrome, meaning that I was just like, oh, that looks nice. And that looks great. And maybe I should invest in that company or that company. And I really didn't have a strategy or a thesis. And so the book is more about, how can I help people understand, what's out there, the ability to be able to do this and help entrepreneurs be able to help see the change that they want to see in the world, but also how can they do it in a smart way? Unlike me, who did a lot of, kind of hit and miss and learn by doing. And I really wanted to help people to be able to kind of see the whole picture before they got started.
And, I would like to respond to that in just saying that I think most people get started that way that you just explained. And I did the exact same thing. It's like someone told us about an idea. We're like, oh my God, that's great. Of course I'll invest. And then realizing that, no, you have to do some due diligence and, have to really have some metrics to look at. And so I think most people jump in that way, and we're trying to prevent people from doing that by offering up investment workshops that we do, which we just did for Show Her the Money yesterday. And we have more coming up. We have a resources page, of course, on our movie site, showherthemoneymovie.com, because we want people to know about podcasts like this one and yours, The Angel Next Door. We want them to know about books like Doing Good While Doing Well, as well as others that are in our sphere. In fact, we have Show Her the Money book coming out as well.
Yes.
And, just give people all the education and resources to make the right decisions. And so one of the decisions that you made was to join the Angel Capital Association. Tell us about that. What is the Angel Capital Association and why are you involved in it? I know you're the past chair for that, so fill us in on that.
So the Angel Capital Association is pretty much what would be considered like a professional society association of all angel investors across the country. So angel groups join, individual angels can join, and the mission of the Angel Capital Association is to educate, to help angels network and share deals, But a big thing that the Angel Capital Association does is they do a lot of public policy work. And there are a lot of things that our legislators really need to know in order to help make sure that entrepreneurship can grow and thrive. And entrepreneurs clearly need funding. And that's the one thing that I've gotten so frustrated with over the years is watching these entrepreneurs just try so hard to build their businesses. And not only do they need the financial means, but they also do need that level of expertise that angels provide from the standpoint of building the business and being able to scale the business. So the Angel Capital Association provides a lot of those resources to angels so that they can then go and help these entrepreneurial companies.
I love that. What a great service they provide, and something that people might want to look at joining. I know you are heading up a new group within that group for women. Is that right?
Well, it's not really new. We formed it about 6 years ago, and it's called Growing Women's Capital. And what we're trying to do is highlight entrepreneurs every month to all of the members of the Angel Capital Association who are interested in investing in women-led companies. And that really should be everybody, of course. But what I'm trying to do is have there be a place where female-led companies can come and be able to showcase what they're doing and be able to see many, many angels and angel groups all at the same time. The other thing I find very, very frustrating is how difficult it is for entrepreneurs to fundraise, how much time it takes, how laborious it is, how many conversations they have to have, how many no's they have to get. So I was thinking to myself, I was with a group of my angel friends about 6 years ago, and we were just like brainstorming, like, what could we do to make this at least a little bit easier on the entrepreneur? And so that's how the Growing Women's Capital group within the Angel Capital Association was formed.
I love that because that is such a problem. And, the interesting part is, and I think the reason you and I are such advocates in this space is it really is so easy or so much easier for men to get funding. They do have their circles and their buddies, and it is an old boys club. And I always say we need a club too, but nobody wants to belong to the old girls club. So we're going to change it and put a B in front of it, the bold girls club. But that's what we need. And I love this idea of being able to put entrepreneurs in front of a group of angels. And, this is one thing I always say to the female entrepreneurs that are out there struggling is that this shouldn't be a struggle to raise money. Go out and meet angel investors, build relationships. It's a very relationship-based arena, and they have to understand that. No one's coming and knocking on their door. They also shouldn't have to talk to hundreds of people, but they need to, before they need the money, really is the key, go out and build these relationships with angel investors and look at it as an exciting endeavor, not a drudgery, right? That you're going to go out and meet the most phenomenal people like Marcia that are angel investors that are brilliant and interesting and fascinating and fun. I mean, this is a fun thing to go out and meet these incredible people, whether they're founders or funders. So we have to look at it with that type of lens, I think, and make it more of a palatable, journey for both. But there are angels out there wanting to know about your innovations and ideas. And there are women that want to invest. So let's make it easier for them to find each other. And that's really what Show Her the Money's about, our community and all the communities like yours that are part of this project. So I'm so happy we're talking about this today because we want it to be easier for entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs to get funding, and BIPOC and LGBTQ, all the ones that have been overlooked. And also for people listening, angel investor is the term given when you invest in a private company that you believe in their product or their service, and it fits with your thesis, as Marcia was saying. You want to have a thesis that says, I'm going to invest in a specific thing. Like I want to invest just in women, just in the environment, or just in technology, or whatever it is that's important to you, so that when you get bombarded with getting a lot of asks, no, I am staying in my lane. This is what I want to be investing in. It kind of helps you to define what it is that you're actually looking to invest in, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the name of your podcast, The Angel Next Door. Tell me how you picked that title and what that means to you.
Well, when I decided I thought a podcast was needed in this space, I went looking to see, are there other podcasts talking about how to be an angel investor? And I found a lot of podcasts about raising money, about being an entrepreneur, about how entrepreneurs could be successful. But I wasn't seeing a lot about, well, how do you become an actual funder instead of just, or instead of being the founder, how do we be the funders? And so I thought, well, I really would like people to be able to see themselves in some of the people that I would have on the show. So I started out by just really interviewing my friends and asking them questions like, how did you decide to do this? Why do you do this? What do you invest in? What is the thesis that you've come up with? Where did you get the money? How much money have you used? All of these questions that sometimes people are like, oh, maybe we shouldn't talk about that because we don't really talk a lot about money and other people's money and things like that. We're all going to be very quiet about that. But we really need to be talking about it. Men, to your point, they will like text each other on the golf course just about like if they're going to invest $50,000 in a company or not. It's crazy. And I've heard stories from entrepreneurs, but as angel investors, to your point, we have our own communities and we can help these entrepreneurs in our own way. And so I'm excited to be able to do that, to try to help bring those people together and to be able to help these entrepreneurs to get the funding that they actually need. So on the podcast, I try to highlight the different types of angels and different stories so that people can hear their why. But I also like to educate people on, well, hey, wait a minute. Did you know that you can use a donor advised fund in order to invest? You can use philanthropic capital and all of those things. So I have several podcast episodes that focus strictly on that. I have a podcast episode about using your individual retirement account, how you can invest through equity crowdfunding. So what's the difference between funds and angel groups, all of those types of things. So really just educating people on the space itself, trying to demystify it and make people feel like, okay, wait a minute. This isn't just for the rich and well-connected. This could be for me too.
I love that message. And when I think of the angel next door, your topic of the podcast, I always think of this class I've taken with Andrea Quinn, where she says, typically your investors and the people that you want to do business with are right in your circle, right within a hand's reach, and you don't even know it. And I was thinking, your next angel for your next project could live next door. And
That's right.
That's what I liked about it. You don't know who angel investors are. People, for some reason, really don't go around announcing that. And
Right.
so you never know who's in your sphere, in your circle. It could be your neighbor. So good to talk about as an entrepreneur what you're doing, what exciting adventures. Most people want to hear about innovations and ideas that you're working on. People love to know what the future brings. And that's one of the reasons I think we both enjoy being in the angel investment world. And let's talk about venture capital because we've both entered into that as well. That's mainly what our movie Show Her the Money is about, is once you're an angel investor, if you decide to invest in a venture capital fund, you become known as, instead of an angel investor, they have a new title and it's called limited partner. So once you invest in a venture fund, and we'll explain what that is, then you become an LP, a limited partner, and the people who run the fund are GPs, general partners. And we do talk about this in the movie to simplify people's understanding of what venture capital is, where all these angels that are now called LPs are pooling their money, kind of like a mutual fund, and then the general partners decide where that money is disseminated into 10, 20, 30 different companies so that you minimize your risk and you benefit from the expertise of those general partners so that you don't have to vet them. Like we were saying, as an angel, you pretty much have to vet it yourself, unless you're with an angel group that's helping to vet the entrepreneur. But in a mutual fund, they're looking at the deal flow, picking which ones they think are winners, vetting them for you, making it more simple to invest in this space, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, angel investors invest with their own money, usually directly into a company. But with venture capital, you have, as Catherine described, the general partners who are managing the fund, the limited partners who are the people putting the money in. That all gets pulled together, and then those general partners are investing other people's money. So that's pretty much the biggest difference between angels and VC.
Right. And you do both, right?
Yes.
Yes, and me
And
too.
and to clarify, because there's general partners and limited partners, like you just described, I'm what's considered a venture partner to Mindshift Capital, which is a venture capital fund investing in women-led companies globally. And a venture partner is somebody who helps to bring deal flow to the general partners. So I help with a lot of the various things that would go kind of on behind the scenes, making sure that entrepreneurs are getting seen by the fund. And then once the funding is put in place and they become a portfolio company of the fund, then there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to help those companies to grow, scale. And then what we really hope is going to happen is that they exit and there's a return that then goes back to the limited partners.
Yes, and we're both talking about being venture partners with, I'm excited to announce Gangels is starting their own women fund, founders fund as well, as is John Majeski at Portola Valley Partners is going to be the first man in Silicon Valley to create a women founders fund. So I'm excited about the movie is perpetuating more people starting their own funds, especially more women starting their own funds and more funds that are focused on funding women, which is exactly what we need in this space so that we can get from 2%, hopefully one day, I know it'll take many years, to the 50% that we deserve. But yesterday I had a conversation with a gentleman who actually had helped create the law in California that now is in place that is going to hold venture capital funds accountable for where the money's going so that, they can be held accountable for the fact that women are only getting 2%, as is, people of color and LGBTQ, because once you start holding people accountable, then things start to really change. But the main thing I wanted to say was that he was telling me if we could improve from just 2% to 3%, if we could just get 1 more percent in the coming year by everybody who's listeners and following us on this film journey, that would add $26 billion to the funding of women. And so I think that's very exciting to realize that we can all play a part in moving that needle, and collectively it moves it in a really big way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
1% equals that much money.
I know. So let's talk about what else you do here, because you are on the advisory, small business advisory for the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. What does that mean, and what is that board of yours doing? I think our audience and I would like to know.
Yeah, so the Small Business Capital Formation Advisory Committee is the actual title. It's a long title. But what we're trying to do is help small businesses by getting them the capital that they need and helping the Securities and Exchange Commissioners to know from different vantage points what's going on kind of in the field or in the marketplace. So the committee is made up of 20 people, and we all represent a little bit of a different angle on small business. Every quarter we meet, and we have a meeting that is broadcast live through the sec.gov website. And we talk about all of the different things that are challenges, the ways that we think that maybe we could improve some of the rules that the Securities and Exchange Commission have placed on how you raise capital or how somebody can invest in a private company. And through that, through those discussions, which are then also watched by the commissioners, we come up with recommendations. So, for example, in just in one of our past meetings, we came up with a recommendation related to the accredited investor definition. And you can go back and you can even watch the recording on their website. But we talked a lot about, what should we do in order to help get more people to be funders. And because of this definition, which limits the number of people that can actually invest because you have to have a certain level of income or wealth, we wanted to add to that. So instead of just saying, hey, you have to have a certain level of income or wealth in order to invest, we suggested there should also be a level of education. And a little while back, they did add that if you have a Series 65 license, if you've taken the exam, you can also be an investor. But we're saying we need to have education that is more relevant to the types of investing that's being done, especially in the startup world where angel and venture capital is happening in every city and every town because there's entrepreneurs everywhere. And we need to make sure that people have the education in order to make good investment decisions and then to be able to help these entrepreneurs grow and scale their company.
I love that suggestion. Thank you for bringing up and filling us in on this great information because some of the viewers may not know, but an accredited investor makes a minimum of $200,000 a year or has a net worth or asset worth of $1 million over and above their home. So there are a lot of people that fit in that category, especially with women coming into trillions of dollars in the coming decade through inheritance and otherwise building businesses. And so women are coming into more money than ever in history, and many will qualify. Those that do not qualify for that yet still have opportunities to invest through different groups and also, of course, through equity crowdfunding, which Obama passed a law many years ago that allowed the democratization of investing by allowing equity crowdfunding. Companies like WeFunder, iFundWomen, Republic, where anybody can go and invest 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000, whatever they want. In fact, I know Jasmine Jones from the movie, who owns Maya, M-Y-Y-A, Maya.com. She's featured in Show Her the Money, has a WeFunder coming out, and people actually have an opportunity to invest in that amazing business that's helping breast cancer survivors. So there's always opportunities out there. And once you immerse yourself in these angel groups, right, Marcia? That's how you learn about all these different innovations and ideas and meet all these brilliant women. Marcia and I and some of the team have been going from city to city throughout the world with Show Her the Money film. And in every stop, we meet the most incredible women with the most brilliant ideas and innovations. And they really could be impacting the world if we would all get behind them. And that's the point is, come to our screenings, come to angel groups and meet these women, hear about these exciting ideas, and then you have an opportunity to invest in them, whether it be through equity crowdfunding or through venture capital or through a direct investment in that company. In fact, most of the companies in our film are still fundraising, whether it be Dapper Boy, who is fundraising, Archeroos, and Deepa Khosla's company, Indie Wild. What an amazing opportunity to be able to invest in those companies. And then, of course, the movie showcases Sogal Ventures, Alternative Wealth Partners, and Emmeline Ventures, all of which people can also invest in. So the purpose of our film, right, Marcia, is to make people aware of how important it is to invest in these women and these innovations to impact what products and services we're going to even see in the future, especially ones that benefit women, our healthcare and otherwise. And so we want to say so in that. That's what investing does, especially in angel investing and venture capital. It gives us a seat at the table to decide what the future looks like. And we all want to be a part of that, right? So, absolutely. Marcia, thanks for all that you're doing, your book, your podcast, being part of Angel Capital Association, being on the SEC fighting for there to be easier, better ways for people to become accredited investors. The work you're doing is absolutely amazing. You're a woman that walks the walk and talks the talk, and I couldn't be more excited to have an expert like you on our 400th episode today.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
So how can people reach you, Marcia? Because I think people, besides getting your book Doing Good by Doing Well on Amazon and others, how do they reach you? Are you on LinkedIn? You want to tell us your website?
Sure. So yes, you can reach me on LinkedIn. My website is simply marciadawood.com. You can find all the things there. The book will be out September of 2024 with an accompanying workbook. It will be out as an audiobook, an ebook, and a hardback book with the accompanying softback workbook. So lots of ways that you can try things, try to get involved, and ways that you can actually take action.
Love that. Well, thanks so much for being our special guest today. And you can even meet Marcia at some of the screenings. So come out to showherthemoneymovie.com is where our schedule is. We both take turns with others in the film coming to those screenings. So we'd love to meet you in person. We would love for you to reach out to us on LinkedIn, Marcia Dawood and Catherine Gray. And also follow us on social with the movie. Show Her the Money's on, of course, Instagram and others. And as is my other company, which is sheangelinvestors.com, where we have a course to help you learn about how do you get funding. It's called 6 Ways to Fund Your Business. So we are here to serve and to help people understand how to become angel investors and venture capitalists. And we are just thrilled that you joined us today. Here on Invest in Her. Thanks so much and make it a great day, everybody. Thank you, Marcia, for being our guest.